David Fear and Jamie Harrington are principals of Altus Real Estate, a boutique real estate agency based in the western suburb of Swanbourne in Perth. Their company specialises in the riverside and beach suburbs around that area, and together they are both this week's Insiders.
I trained as a primary school teacher and taught in Western Australia for 3 years, and moved overseas for 4 and set up schools for international corporations. From that, moved into corporate education and development, and spent 5 years in Phuket in Thailand, running corporate training programs for companies from all over the world.
Yeah, and I got involved in education as well. I used to coach squash at an international level, and also used to look after the pastoral care for a few of the private schools. I moved into real estate because it gave me an opportunity to expand and grow. I'd been in a job that basically restricted me in what I could do. And real estate's just so open-ended, and you get rewarded accordingly.
Yes, it was hard, and I think it was actually bordering on madness for myself. I knew very little about real estate. In fact, I knew very little about the western suburbs, which is where I thought I wanted to work, and knew I wanted to work. I knew Mounts Bay Road, I knew Stirling Highway, Bayview Terrace and Eric Street, and that was it. So I arrived at my first day, suit and tie, full of enthusiasm. There was the phone, get to work. My first sale, bless her to this day, my cousin, it was over in Maida Vale. I was full of enthusiasm, and I'm very thankful for the start to this day. The unexpected, certainly to start with, was the emotional commitment or the emotional pressure that came from the job. I guess the best way to describe it is it was like a roller coaster ride. Your best friends would list their home with somebody else for sale, or you'd get a sale from somewhere you didn't expect it, and it was this, certainly for the first couple of years, there were very high ups and very low downs. I guess the other thing there is expect the unexpected, because that's what the journey, my 10-year journey has been, a series of unexpected events.
There's several bits of advice that I'd give somebody. Number one, find out what's involved. Too many people get involved because they like houses. Develop a business plan. Work out exactly how you're going to go about being a professional in this industry. And finally, invest in your skills and your knowledge. Find out where you can get the best training and go there.
Yes, we've seen this market before. This is a balanced or normal market, as we describe it. There tends to be a reasonable amount of homes on the market and a reasonable amount of activity. In Perth, the tipping point tends to be about 12,000 homes on the market. Right now we have about 10,000.
Having said that, there's still a lot more stock coming in, and we're getting a lot more buyers coming in from overseas, so I'm sure we're going to continue to rise. I think we're in a very, very optimistic market at the moment. That's a very easy question to answer, because Jamie is currently selling his home. Tell me what you did, Jamie.
In terms of presentation, well, that's what I'm doing as an owner. Leave no stone unturned in terms of getting it right. We know that first impressions count, and you only get one opportunity with each buyer. So internet being the most likely place someone will touch your property for the first time, you want to make sure you get it perfect.
And that's exactly what Jamie's done. He also has priced it competitively and has not been afraid to spend money on marketing. So he's getting it out to the whole market.
At the risk of sounding too much like a real estate agent, I would suggest those people who are looking to buy, make a decision sooner rather than later. You're in a market that's improving, and we can only see values going up in the near future. So based on that, I would suggest go online, do your research, narrow your suburbs down, get your finance pre-approved and make a decision.
Well, number one, get your finances sorted out. Make sure you know what you can afford. Two, when you go looking for a property, look for a property that's in a good spot. And don't worry about stretching, because today's stretch is going to put you into a much better position later on. And finally, don't be afraid to syndicate. If you need to get together with a few of your friends, work out terms of agreement and then buy together, because it's getting harder and harder and harder to break into this real estate market.
Our real estate market is linked to the resources sector. There is no question about that. With Gorgon and Pluto bringing in somewhere in the vicinity of 35,000 people for their projects, there is only one way this market is going to be going, and that is north. I think we're going to see improvement, further confidence and further growth. In terms of real estate markets, there will always be sunshine and there'll always be rain, and one will follow the other. It's just a case of when it's going to be happening.
The other thing that I think, Jamie, is the fact that most people overthink real estate. They're too worried trying to pick tops of markets and troughs and so on. The most important thing is just do it and stay with it for long enough and you'll always succeed.
Up next, another brand new technology that debuted in New York recently, NeighborWise.